This episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/TRS for your free trial membership. On today's TRS, we enter the unique and imaginative world of the new comic, Return of the Dapper Men.
Today we're doing comic books, and we've done a lot of comic books on the show that have to do with superheroes, and some that have to do with zombies, and some that have to do with all kinds of things that aren't even related to superheroics. But we've never done anything quite like what we're talking about today. And that's why, for the first time, I'm actually holding up the book, because it really is different than any other comic we've talked about. It's called The Return of the Dapper Men, and it is by Jim McCann and Janet Leigh. Jim McCann is a guy who's written a lot for Marvel and other people. But this is really a children's book for adults, I would say. It's got a children's book kind of mentality to it. Dan wanted me to read the opening inscription, which kind of sets everything up, which says, "To anyone who ever fell down a rabbit hole, walked to the sidewalk's end, danced a wild rumpus, or followed the second star to the right, may you find adventure, wonder, and a little something from which dreams are made in these pages." Obviously references to many popular children's stories. There's also tons of references to Shakespeare and all kinds of other literary devices. It takes place in a land called Anarev, which of course is Verona backwards. But I think the most striking thing about this book is the art. Hopefully Mike will be able to put up some pictures of the art in the back, because it's accomplished in a way that I don't think any other comic that I know of is, in a way that's called decoupage. And that is a artistic method by which you cut out things that are drawn on paper, put them on another medium, usually wood or some other kind of hard material, and then lacquer that after you've painted it. So it looks very much like a painted storybook world, but with something even more textural. And I think it's absolutely striking, stunning work by Janet Leigh. Painstaking, because she literally has to cut out each individual figure, put it on a piece of board that she's painted, and then lacquer that. Each page of this book really is a work of art. The story is much more difficult to wrap your head around. It is a Romeo and Juliet tale of a boy and a girl who are from different parts of the world. She's a robot, kind of.
Like a clockwork bot.
Kind of.
The book is written with this sort of Lewis Carrollian riddle text, where every sentence, every bit of phrasing, everything is a little knot that you kind of have to unravel. I'll give you an example that illustrates my point. Here's one line from the book. "Why can't we be everywhere at once? Well, we could, I suppose, but that's neither here nor there, or even way out there." It's that all the way through. So Dan, you're the one that brought this to our attention. Tell me what you think of Return of the Dapper Men.
I thought it was incredible. I often don't like, as I mentioned when we reviewed Alice in Wonderland. I never liked Alice in Wonderland. And I also found Tron, the original, boring.
Well, you hate children, so.
No, there's something about those stories, the down the rabbit hole story, and even Where the Wild Things Are, I found boring. Where there's not really much of a story. It's just about, wow, isn't this amazing? Wow, isn't this amazing? Wow, isn't this surreal and amazing? And then the end, you know? But this, because it was amazing, because the art was so spectacular, and the words were so fascinating, and maybe because I was reading it instead of watching it, I had time to try and decipher.
Well, also, you were the person down the rabbit hole. You weren't trying to associate with the character who was down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
The world was there.
You really start in the rabbit.
Yeah.
That's a really great point, because there is no person that starts in the normal world in this book and goes somewhere crazy. You opening the book are taking that journey.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great, and I think if you liked Pan's Labyrinth or Coraline or these modern Alice in Wonderland tales, you're gonna love this. What I did find interesting, as much as I love the art, when in the back of the book you see other artists' renditions of the characters, and I was like, actually, it is kind of cool like that. I mean, it
Like
is
a classic
kinda,
comic
yeah,
book?
like some are more classic comic, and they're just different styles, and it's like they're richer, you know, in other ways. But what's also cool, it's not like it's not. A Serious Polyp was another graphic novel that we read that had a more interesting layout.
A Serious Polyp?
A Serious Polyp.
Remember when we reviewed that?
I remember when it was removed. I didn't-
But what's great about this is it's not like frame. It's like every page is its own unique thing that, as you said, it's kind of its own unique work of art, but you kind of have to respect each page on its own terms, and that's just fun. It's fun to read.
Alex, not usually your type of thing. What did you think?
No. It's not actually. And I opened it up and I was like, here comes the polyp removal. But I really, really, really enjoyed it, and it's hard to explain why. I mean, it was sort of one of those things. I thought it really was sort of the wordsmithing of what was happening, because there were a lot of things that I was like, this book has ideas that are just happen over the course of a page, and you're like, wait, that was an amazing idea. You know what I mean? The whole book starts with, the talk on a clock is missing, so now there is no such thing as tomorrow or now or later.
Not the TALK on a clock, the TOCK.
Yeah.
It has a tick, but no talk.
Yeah, so then the tick goes away because the talk is gone. It didn't lose the tick doesn't exist because there's no talk. I mean, it's like, and then but that is sort of like a childish, like, oh, you know what I mean, the cat lost his mitten or whatever. But the fact that it then goes into, nobody knows what dreams are because there's no night, so nobody sleeps. You know what I mean? Like, there is no concept of anything other than now. So what does people do now? They just party. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. And then this sort of like thing happens where these men appear, and it's like, oh, that happened.
The Dapper Men.
And it just happens. So there's a lot to love in this book. And I thought it actually reminded me of one of my favorite childhood books, which I'm going to totally butcher.
Why would you do that? Why would you butcher a book
Because I hate my childhood. And I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it's Alexander and the Nighttime Kitchen, something like that. Alexander. This picture here is that book to me growing up. So
Well,
that was really.
I also like this,
great.
although I think I'm going to temper your guys' enthusiasm, because I think I don't want to give the wrong impression to our viewers who might want to run out and pick this up. While I do recommend it wholeheartedly, I don't know about you guys, maybe I'm the dense one here, but I don't think I got it in one reading. I think this requires multiple readings. It really is very, very dense.
Yeah.
And there is, like we were talking about, as you said, there really is no point of reference.
Yeah.
You get in and it's chaos. It is mind manipulation and word trickery, and there is no straight man. It is all just playing on itself constantly. But the beauty of this book is that it is just playing on metaphor constantly. And there are those juicy little phrases where you go, I can kind of almost Zen poems of I can start to trip out on that. But also, there's a beautiful metaphor. It's about loss. It's about love. It really is, I think, an adult tale as a children's book. This is not a light read. This is not something you would sit down with your 4-year-old and read it to them before bedtime. It is a very, not adult in any kind of thematic way, but adult in a heaviness.
Yeah.
It is very...
It's intellectually mature.
Well said.
Yes.
But just a beautiful piece of art, something that you could put on a coffee table, and people would be drawn to it because it is so striking and so different looking, and really is whimsical and magical, and as much as it is an homage to all of the things that it is inspired by, it is different from them all also.
And a new entry into them.
Yeah.
I would say too, not only is it about loss and love, but there's what really, because I agree, it was very dense, and I do feel like even when you guys are describing the talk lost the tick, and I'm like, I want to read it again.
Yeah.
But what I really closed this book feeling was the same way I feel when I go down to Disneyland, which is that childhood wonderment. That, because the book is all about, like you said, there's no night now, there's no tomorrow, there's no days, and I just had this feeling of when you're a kid, how everything is magical and everything is bigger than you, and you have no sense of time. When you have no sense of, like, that's why Christmas is such a big deal, because like you can't wait. you can't wait till tomorrow happens, and it feels like it's never gonna come, and you just have no sense of things, and everything's being told to you, and there's so many things happening in this book that made me remember the experience of being a kid, which you don't think about as an adult.
It's also about growing up. I mean, what happens quite literally is a metaphor for him putting away childish things and accepting that time passes,
right?
And becoming an adult.
Yeah.
So it's a really special experience. Like I said, it's not the kind of thing where you're going to sit down and go, that was a great adventure story.
Yeah.
It is a much different kind of read than I think anything else we've covered on this show.
Yeah.
So
glad we did it.
yeah, me too.
Dapper Men, what? So remember to stick around for all of this week's lovely juicy outtakes, which I'm sure
We never make
Mike will
mistakes.
find tons of juicy outtakes. But first, sponsor me, Dan.
So Netflix is where you go to rent movies and television shows. You can have them sent to your door in basically one business day, as well as streamed instantly over your PC, your Mac, your PS3, your Xbox, your any console really, your Wii, your iPad, iPhone, what have you.
A lot of what have yous.
Guys, what do we recommend for these?
Well, maybe-
Alice in Wonderland type tale that we liked.
You know what I was going to say?
I was gonna say.
The Matrix.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
on my mind because rumors of more matrices.
That have been dispelled, yes.
Yeah, but it was
that
on my.
was on my
Maybe
mind.
I want to rewatch the second two because they get such a bad rap, and I want to.
I did that recently, and
Didn't hold up.
No, the first one, however, does.
And that's the one that's most rabbit holy.
Yes.
Yeah. The other one is Hold.
So that's Netflix. If you go to netflix.com/TRS, you can get a free trial.
Amazing. Also, backgrounds. Please feel free to send them in. Fans at TotallyRadShow.com and head over to jinx.com/TRS to get a little bit of TRS swag action.
Thank you,
And we
Seth,
will,
for sending that in.
Yeah, have
He
a
likes
good,
Seth.
Have a good weekend. Here we go. Ready?
I'm not gonna talk though.
You're not going to talk at all.
Not really, no. There you go.
There it is. Here we go. And enthusiasm and smiles.
Definitely ask Dan a question.
I'm totally asking you a question. Today is January 30th, and on this day
It's the 31st.
31st. That would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. January 31st.
Sorry. Seth Hatband?
Hatland. That's right.
Oh, it's in the friggin' prompter. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Here we go. Ready?
I did say Hatband, which is pretty close.
It's very close.
Today is February 1st. Okay. Today is February 1st. What? Today is February. Yeah. Today is February 1st. Are you ready? Ready. So welcome back. Here we are in our.
This time it's. How's everybody doing?
Ready? Today in movies, we are talking about The Mechanic, which is based on a 1972 Charles Bronson film. I've never seen it. I don't think you
No,
guys
but I
have
hear it's on
either.
Netflix streaming now.
Ooh.
That's what I hear
All right.
from the Twitterverse.
We'll hold on a second. It totally froze me. I was like, you took me down. I was thinking of like, Netflix.
Netflix.
I was like, this is the thing we talk about on the show. That should be, but no, that's pointless right now. And I felt like that took 5 minutes, but probably was like a second. It all happened in like a split second.
Definitely
but
you
Amazing.
stopping was out of left field. I did not think there was anything going wrong.
You like said the like Manchurian Candidate like special words.
It was like Ace of Spades.
I'm saying the exact same thing, so prepare yourself.
Today in movies, we're talking about The Mechanic, which is based on the 1972 Charles Bronson film. Netflix instant streaming. Sorry, just kidding. I'm gonna do it again. I really wanted you to like start, and then I was gonna say it.
Oh, you didn't
You'd be
wait
like
for me to
mad at
start.
me. I know.
All right, back to one.
All right.
Dan's having his own little party over
Yeah,
here.
yeah. There we go. The Mechanic is about a.
No, actually, I heard it was on Netflix streaming now.
Yes. Yes.
I heard that too.
I heard that
Somebody
too.
Twittered me.
Twittered, I
about
got
that.
Frame.
Bang!
Whoop, whoop.
Oh. Aaron Sorkin.
And the cat lost his mitten.
Netflix instant streaming.
He did a lot of acting.
Fly.